Hey, guy.
You know, you make fun of me like 35, 45 more times, and I'm not going to hang out with you anymore.
Well, you look like you were jerking your gherkin.
I pulled out my stick of chap.
Oh, your Mountain Dew stick of chap.
Yeah, it's Mountain Dew flavored. Yeah.
Oh,
It
yeah.
doesn't taste like Mountain Dew.
No? What's it taste like? Shit?
No, I, I don't even think it tastes like anything, to be honest with you.
Just chapstick or stick of chap.
Yeah, it's just stick of chap. So
Gotcha.
maybe get a little key lime or something. It's got some small hint of flavor, but not
Yeah.
Mountain Dew.
Now, did you get that in a pack of a bunch of different
Yes.
flavors?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was Pepsi, Cherry Pepsi, and Mountain Dew were the three flavors.
Nice.
The Cherry Pepsi tasted like something.
Cherry?
I don't know if it was Cherry Pepsi, but it tasted like something. And it wasn't bad. And the Mountain Dew, yeah, I mean,
Have you, on the same lines but different company, have you tasted the new orange Coca-Cola or whatever? It's
that's
like,
the Orange Dream.
yeah, how is that?
Love it.
Is it? Because I was looking at the store the other day and I was like, I wonder if that tastes good or if that tastes like shit. I mean, I don't drink pop, so
Yeah, you would
I'll
only drink
never
it.
try it unless we're going to do a taste test, but
Yeah,
which is kind of harder to do now that we're separate. Not harder, but I'd have to buy my own. And,
yeah,
as
yeah.
opposed to you
I
bringing
actually
it.
I have some here.
Do you?
Yeah,
Well, here, pass one through the screen
that'll work.
and I'll try it. I can't drink beer here because, well, I can, but you just won't be able to smell it.
Yeah, no, you'd have to send me beer for me to smell and pour out.
Yeah, which would be pointless.
Yeah, yeah. No, when that Orange Dream came out the first time, like when it first came out, Joe was like, "Hey, you should try this." And I'm like, I mean, I'll try it because I like to try, Coke's new flavors. And I'm like, so I bought the sugar free because, I'm rocking the sugar free action right now.
Yeah.
It was dog shit. I was like, oh, yuck, not going to do this ever again. Um, so then at the gas station, I bought a 20 ounce of the regular. I'm like, ooh, this is really good.
Yeah.
It really tastes like Coke and an orange dreamsicle.
Nice. So
Yeah.
you would recommend it.
Yeah, I actually have. I was drinking it one day in one of my sessions, and the client was like, "What is that?" And I told him, and he's like, "Well, where did you get it?" I'm like, "I got this at Woodman's, but you can get it at Walmart or gas station, wherever." And the very next week when he came, he's like, "Yeah, dude, I went and bought like 3 cases of that shit. It's awesome." I was like, "Yeah, I know, it's really good."
I wonder if it
So
would be good as because like you do like a Captain Morgan and a Coke.
yeah,
If it would be good with that or if the orange is going to fuck that up
well, I can do an experiment tonight
with
if you'd like.
your it gets
My
like
non-alcoholic whiskey.
yeah.
Yeah,
Try it. I'm curious because if it's good, I get some for that purpose. That's
yeah,
about as close as I'll get to a pop as if it's mixed with a
yeah.
but
Yeah, it's good. I do like it. And I have a system because because I said like I'll only drink the sugar with that one. So in the refrigerator, it's every other. So there's a Dr. Pepper Zero, orange cream or Dream, or whatever it is, Zero, Dream Zero, and all that. So
yeah,
every other pop is a zero sugar or that. Today, the first pop I got just happened to be a zero sugar. So the next pop I have will be
a dream.
a Dream. Yeah.
Are you the only one that drinks the pop?
Yes.
Okay. I was gonna say because like your routine could get fucked up if it's like, oh, I've grabbed the Dr. Pepper and then Joy's like, oh, I'm taking the fucking and
Oh
just
no,
you
I'm
never
talking
get
about
one.
no, I'm talking about the office here.
Oh, okay.
At,
Your
at
office
the
one.
Yeah, at the house, yeah, it's just a drawer you pull out and it's all my pops are there. So whatever I feel like at that time, I could get
Gotcha.
a Orange Dream, I can get a zero sugar Dr. Pepper, a cherry Dr. Pepper zero sugar, or a regular Dr. Pepper.
Man, you got a variety, huh?
Yeah, because I for a
And don't you
while
have the pop machine downstairs too?
I have a pop machine downstairs. Yeah, I don't have anything in that right now, but I do have one.
Um, That's interesting. I love that pop machine idea. Like just having that, with like Fago or uh
Yeah.
yes,
You know,
whatever. It's such a cool thing to have in your house as opposed to, you know, at the
yeah. And that's the one thing that really pissed me off about Fago.
is that they don't do the duders anymore for that.
No, I emailed them. I sent them a picture of it, of all the handles and the machine. And I said, do you guys have, I'll pay for it. Do you have like decals and a wrap that I can make this a Fago one? Because I'd like to drink Fago out of here. And they said, no, we don't. And that was it. Like, no, we don't. Like, not here's all the logos so you can print your own. Call this company. They make really good like nothing. Like, no, we don't. That
Nothing.
was it.
They
And
just
I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, well, then fuck you guys. Like
yeah,
that. Me as a Fago company, I think I'd be really cool with that. I'd be, oh shit, this dude's gonna do this. We should get this all over the place. I mean, that'd be fucking cool.
yeah.
Because, and I found out because my uncle works at Pepsi or worked. He has retired since, but when they take the I think they're 5 gallon canisters, canisters that you just mix that with the CO2 and it becomes pop.
Hmm.
And I was like, hey, I want to buy them. Now, back in my day when we first got the pop machine, they were $7 for a canister. And now they're like 39.50 a canister. And I'm like, God damn, those things are really expensive, because when I did my 1 year party, that's when I filled it up and I bought a bunch.
Yeah,
And when I went to get some more from him, he's like, dude, just buy a bunch of 2 liters and fill it up with 2 liters. It's kind of the same thing. I'm like, really? So that's when I was like, well, shit, I'll do Fago because I can buy Fago cheaper. And they're
yeah,
actually 3 liters, a lot of them. So I could, throw a 3 liter of cola in there and not have to worry about it.
yeah.
I did for a while. I ran Fago through it for a while, and that was the last. I think Fago was the last thing I had in it.
Yeah.
You know.
So the canisters are just a device to hold the drink. You'd have to clean it out, but
Yeah, yeah. You clean it out. You basically use the bartender stuff,
yeah,
to sanitize it and all that jazz, and then refill it up and reuse it. So
nice. Do you
yeah,
have the little water button on yours?
no, we
You know
didn't.
how they have that though?
Yeah,
Like,
we didn't believe in water back then,
I gotcha.
and plus it'd have to be hooked up to a water line, and it's
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
But yeah, I had to take it all apart and clean it and put it together and fix it to make it run when I first got it because it hadn't ran in like 15, 20 years.
So yeah, I'm just thinking the Fago people because they don't. It makes sense that they wouldn't have that because when have you ever seen Fago as an option at one of those types of things in a store anywhere? It's
Yeah.
or like not a store, but like a fast food restaurant or something like that. They're just not. That's
Yeah,
not
but
the market.
I've seen Fago pop machines where you could take, you push the button back in the day. You
Oh, like
push the
an actual
clear
pop
button.
machine.
Yeah. So I could have taken that and then, put some sticky to the back of it and stuck that on my Lego, on my pull tabs.
Yeah.
But no, they didn't want any part of helping me at all.
Hmm.
So, but and I guess it's not uncommon. Like I think as I guess not like a fan, but as like a person that would accept and really like fan fiction type shit. And I say fan fiction for a reason. I have a client who's in the fourth grade, so she's super young, right? And she's reading the Warrior Cats novels. I don't know if you're familiar with them or not.
Mhm.
I haven't. It's this gigantic world and universe of like cat warriors. They're literally like fucking cats that are warriors and they fight and they have different clans and shit. She loves it so much when we started talking about things and she's like, I want to write a book. And I was like, what kind of book? And she's like, I want to do like a fan fiction. She didn't use those words, but she said she wanted to write her story in that realm. And
Yeah.
I'm like, holy fuck, like this is really cool because this is the first thing I've seen her really get into, And so she's writing about things in her life and issues she's having at school and home in the Warrior Cats world.
Right.
So I found out like who the actual copyright holder is of the books. And I
Hmm.
reached out to him. I was like, hey, like I'm a counselor. I'm all about journaling and writing and, therapeutic stuff. I have a very young client in the fourth grade that wants to write a fan fiction and create a universe or use your universe, but create her own characters and all that and her own storyline. Like, I'm just looking for the rights from you or the blessing for you to help her complete it, to at least publish it, to the fact that she has enough for her school, her friends and family, and that's it. That's all I want proof of, and they responded back and said, you can do that. You just can't make money off of it,
Right.
which is fine, but that's not what I was looking for. I was really thinking they'd be like, "Oh my God, that's so cool. Like, we'll help you with whatever you need." Like, shit like that. Like, the author is so impressed by this that he'd love to see a copy. Like, that's if I was Stephen King and my publisher or copyright holder said, "Hey, this fucking fourth grade kid is writing a book about it." In
Yeah.
that world, do you mind them writing it? And oh fuck, that'd be awesome. I'd like to meet the kid and fucking go to a school and talk. And that's the kind of shit I would do.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, do it. Don't make money off of it. At least I got the okay to do it,
Yeah.
but it just kind of defeats the purpose. You know what I mean?
Right.
But at least I can get it. So now, I mean, I'll spend money. Work will spend money to publish the book for her, self-published and stuff. But it's just cool that we can do it.
You
You
just
know?
can't sell the book, basically. You can
Yeah,
get
I
them
just can't.
published and give them away, basically.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm thinking that if we sold the book for, say, $10, but we're not selling the book, we're selling the autograph. She's
Mm.
autographing the book for $10.
Yeah.
Book's free, but the autograph is 10.
Yeah. Now you're making,
Might
yeah.
try and get away from it that way. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, not that I want to make money because that's not what the point is. The point is this kid. I mean, if this
But
kid can,
it could pay back what's being spent on the publishing of it,
well, it's all
kind of.
self-published. So, but yeah,
But self-publishing's not free. That's
no, 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 it's
what I'm
not.
saying. So like if for 20 copies of this book, say it costs $200 just for simple whatever
Mhm.
you did $10 an autograph, you literally pay for the publishing,
Yeah.
essentially, with an autograph,
Mhm.
And there's, 20 copies. She keeps one, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah. So,
anyways,
well, she has
as
to finish
as your
writing.
attorney, I think we'll be okay.
Well, I mean, I called Bill Nye's office, left a message. I'm hoping he'll call me soon.
Yeah, good luck. You're probably gonna be fucked at this point.
Yeah, we didn't even finish the book and I'm already getting sued. So,
Yeah, they're suing you just because you have Bill Nye as your attorney.
yeah, pretty much.
All
All right, well, let's get some words in here.
right. I was just gonna say, well, let's publish our own Mad Lib here
Yeah, let's do
by
that.
first doing words. We're continuing with our Cracker Barrel Mad Lib book.
Ah, the barrel of crackers.
I need a verb.
Let's go with running
Then I need an adverb.
slowly.
Um, Give me a number.
Well, let's go with 200.
Color.
Black,
Another color.
purple,
Part of the body.
vagina,
Person in room.
Ryan,
Person in room male.
Fievel,
Who?
Fievel.
Fievel? Oh,
Yeah,
like Fievel goes west?
Fievel from American Tail, yes.
I haven't heard that in forever. An occupation.
Let us go with dog poop cleaner upper.
A noun.
Skeleton,
Another noun.
stapler,
I believe you have my stapler.
You may
Plural
keep
noun.
plural noun.
Yes, sir.
Aliens.
I'm not going to read it like that because I won't remember.
That's fine.
If I do remember, I'll try to read it like that. I need three adjectives.
Three adjectives: hairy,
Mary.
long,
Oh,
and itty bitty tiny teeny weeny.
that's the itty bitty tiny teeny weeny.
Yep.
It's going to be a minute. I got to write all that. Itty bitty
Bitty, teeny tiny weeny.
teeny itty bitty teeny tiny weeny.
Yep.
Jesus Christ. All right.
You're welcome.
This one is Dave's Wiener. No.
Yes.
Hopefully that's not where. No, I'm just kidding. This is Meet Uncle Sam.
Well, it doesn't have my name in it anywhere. So if anything, it's gonna be Ryan's tiny wiener.
That doesn't have my name in it anywhere either. Well, that does, but the
Yeah.
title is Meet Uncle Sam.
All right.
Uncle Sam is a long nickname for the U.S. government that became popular during the stapler of 1812.
I remember the stapler of 1812. Remember that?
Yeah. But there's so much more about Uncle Fievel that you don't know.
Yeah.
So we've literally in one little paragraph we've transitioned Uncle Sam to Uncle Fievel.
Well, we have not transitioned. We have changed his name.
Uncle Sam transitioned to Uncle Fievel.
Okay.
All right. Favorite color? Red, white, and black, of course. Favorite article of clothing? A toss-up between my hairy top hat and my purple bow tie. They both make my vagina look itty bitty teeny tiny weeny.
That's perfect.
Favorite phrase? I want you. Yes, you, Ryan. That's his favorite phrase.
Doesn't
Favorite
surprise me.
holiday? Talk like a dog poop cleaner upper day. Just kidding. It's slowly Independence Day.
Slowly.
Yeah. Favorite band? The Rolling Aliens or whatever you said. Hey, even Uncle Sam likes running and roll sometimes. Instead of rock, it's running and roll.
Running and roll.
You ever listen to that running and roll music?
Oh, dude, I didn't because the kids with their Dan Fogelberg and stuff it just
Dan
drove me nuts.
Fogelberg.
It's too loud for me.
All right. Favorite movie? Either Born on the 4th of Skeleton or Toy Story 200. That's the end of it.
Nice. That's pretty good.
They both make my
Yeah.
vagina look itty bitty teeny tiny weeny.
Yeah. The a stapler of 1812, man. That right there, that's man, I remember that like it was yesterday.
Well, impromptu, drunk not drunk.
All
3 minute. What is the stapler of 1812? Explain it.
right. So
I'm
in
timing you. Three
all
minutes,
right,
you're cut off.
3 minutes. All right. So in 1812, there was the war, obviously. But the war started because of a stapler.
Ah.
So the movie Office Space, where the guy talks about he might stapler,
Yeah.
that's actually legit every word that General Custard, not Custer, Custard said in the War of 1812, which started the stapler of 1812 because he was looking for his stapler to staple the Declaration of Independence on the back of an American flag.
Mm.
Because he was worried that if it was, just in a Library of Congress, that someone would steal it or burn it or change it or do something to that effect. So he wanted to put it on the back of the American flag that was actually flown at the White House.
Mm.
And he couldn't find
Safe
his.
place for the Constitution.
Yes,
Declaration of Independence. Safe place.
yes, yes. That's this whole thing is all about that. And Those that were there, obviously they're all dead except for like one person. Everyone else is all dead, and
They're still
th
getting a Social Security check.
they're all still voting for Biden. But they would not. They knew it as the Stapler of 1812. They didn't know it as the War of 1812. They called it the Stapler of 1812 because John S. Stapler was the cousin of General Custer, and he was the inventor of the stapler.
Really?
Yeah,
Well, it
yeah,
makes sense being it's his last name.
yeah. And the S stood for skeleton. So his name was John Skeleton Stapler.
Yeah, wow.
And
And
it
what
used
year was that stapler invented?
1812.
Are you sure?
I'm positive. I know these things.
Okay.
And so the reason why it's called a stapler is when he came over, because he's an immigrant, when John Skeleton Stapler came over from Honduras, he didn't even come over from England or anything. When he came over from Honduras, his actual last name was Stapleton.
Ah.
But because we changed everything at Easter Island, not Ellis Island, Easter Island back then, his name was changed to John Skeleton Stapler. So they dropped the ton and made it and that's why we now have the stapler.
Nice.
Um, so that is the stapler of 1812. It's actually really fascinating to see because the stapler then only could staple two pieces of paper.
Well, you can only get two staples in.
Only two. One staple, two pieces of paper.
Yeah.
So like now you can, I think mine does like 8 or 9 pages now. Oh no, 25, 25 sheets, you know.
Wow, that's a
And
lot.
the reason why they got the industrial strength or the thicker ones that could do more than 2 pages is because once they finally got the stapler, once he finally, stapler, once General Custard finally found his stapler, he realized he couldn't staple the Declaration of Independence on the back of the flag. So that's when he went to his cousin and said, "Hey, John, I need a thicker stapler because it's not working. This is what I want to do." And he's like, "You're fucking retarded. Like, why would you want to do that? Like, it's paper. It's gonna rain and snow and wind will blow. That paper's gonna rip and shred to shit." He's like, "Well, that's why I want it thicker so I can staple it on all four corners. Because if I have all four corners stapled, it'll be fine." That's what he thought. But it didn't work because it took him 27 years to make it where you could actually do 3 pages instead of
Mm.
two. 27 years it took him that
Well,
long to do that. So I don't know where I'm at for time, but that's the quickest version I can give you of the
yeah, you've
stapler.
gone over, but it's fine.
So that's the quickest version of stapler of 1812 I can give you.
Okay. Nice. So do you
So
want me to fact check you now, or should we just leave it how it is?
you can fact check me. It's all going to be wrong. Everything on
Okay.
Snopes is going to say that everything I said was wrong.
Well, and actually, Snopes is agreeing with you 100%. It's
Okay.
Google that.
Google. See, and that's the problem. Now that Elon has taken over Twitter and made it X, Google does not agree with anything that I say
Oh, okay.
because they
Yeah.
want to tell their narrative of the War of 1812. They don't want to talk about the Stapler of 1812.
Ah, okay.
So if you want more history, real fact history, check out our Drunk Not Drunk history on Patreon.
Yeah. It's $5 a month,
Yeah.
and you'll get what do we call that? A deeper dive of the drunk not
Yeah.
drunk kind of deal. We just gave you a little teaser there, since it was brought up. So
Yeah. So that's the Stapler of 1812.
there you go.
All true. Everything I talk about in Drunk Not Drunk history is completely true. None of it's made up. It's all 100% honest, 100% true, all factual based. Because I only deal in truth, not facts.
You and our previous, well, I don't even know if we could call him president.
We call him the puppet, our previous puppet.
Yeah. Okay. Are we ready for Dear
Yeah, let's
Day?
move on. Yeah, let's move on.
All right. Today's subject line. I'm not sure. Oh, I got it now. I had to think for a second. Um, 25 female,
Okay.
26 non-binary, struggling with mental health. How can we support each other? Okay. That's the
Okay.
subject line. Here's the meat of the letter. My partner, 25 female, and I, 26 non-binary, have been together for 1.5 years and live together in a very loving relationship. I am struggling financially, and recently my grandma died, and I had to put down my dog. I have obsessive compulsive disorder, and all of this has triggered it so bad I feel like a horrible, disgusting person most of the time. My girlfriend has been overworked in her toxic job, recently got into a traumatizing almost car accident, and has been supporting me a lot, and is going through intense depression right now. We want to support one another, but it's just so hard to know what to do. She needs a pause, but can't afford it with work. Both of us big introverts and drained by being social and also very neurodivergent. I'm in therapy and unmedicated. She's medicated. How can we work on ourselves and support each other without burning out?
All right. Well, first of all, it sounds like you're already at burnout. That's my first thing. So, big thing I focus on with burnout is mindfulness. So, Ryan, you've done leaves on a stream with me before, so that's one of the big things that I push is leaves on a stream. So, um, basically, the quickest version I can give you on that, close your eyes, take a deep breath, picture yourself in a wooded area. There's trees blowing. You can decide how fast and loud the trees are blowing in the wind. You can see the stream. You might hear some birds. The first thought you think of, whatever it is, take that thought, put it on a leaf, put that leaf on the water, let it float away. When it's about 5 feet away, think of your next thought and continue that process. One thing that I've added in the last 3 weeks, I haven't done with you is when you're thinking of things or things pop up and you let them go, let's think or let's say one of the thoughts is your significant other. You don't want to let them go because obviously you don't want to break up. So what you do is you take them, you set them next to you on the other side where there's no leaves. The reason why you set them down is you're just setting them aside for the moment because you're focusing on what you're focusing on now. You're not letting them go. You're not ignoring them. You're just setting them aside for now. So when you're doing that, that's a good, key important part of meditation is letting the things go that you need to, and those that are priority and that you need to worry about, put them next to you and get to them later. Kind of like, well, I'll get to cleaning my room tomorrow. You set it aside for now.
Hmm.
It's still important. You're not letting it go. You're just going to do it tomorrow.
Hmm.
So focus on mindfulness. Your girlfriend needs to get into counseling. Medicated, it sounds possibly maybe self-medication as well, for whatever she has going on. But I think if you truly want to be able to help her and yourself, you both need to see a counselor separately. And then I think it would be good to do a couples group as well, where you just learn how to mediate and talk to each other with a mediator there. And then that way you can help process things. So if she's going to deal with this almost traumatizing, almost accident, however it was worded, then she needs to talk about it. You need to be there when she's talking about it in front of a counselor so you can see how to respond and how to help without going through all the schooling and technical stuff that you need to learn how to do it. You can at least learn the right things to say at the moment.
Right.
So those are kind of my go-tos right now would be your girlfriend needs to get counseling. You guys should meditate. Not that you have to meditate together, but it could help if you're both meditating. If you want to really, really be there, intertwined with them, being part of the coupleship, you can actually sit down, close your eyes, and walk them through the guided meditation. And as your girlfriend is talking about the accident or whatever she's letting go, actually have her articulate what her thoughts are and help you. So if she's sitting there, she's like, "Oh, I'm thinking about financial stress," and then you could say, "Okay, hon, well, take that financial stress, put it, do what I would do in a situation, and then once you do that for 5 minutes, switch. You meditate, she guides you." And that way, too, it helps know what the other is thinking to kind of help bridge that gap between the two of you. Because part of communication isn't just talking to listen, it's talking to listen and respond and learn. So that's kind of the quickest version I can do for you.
All right. I really don't have anything to add.
All right.
Not when it
Sounds
comes like so lots of times with the mental health stuff, I don't really want to give an opinion because or I'm less likely to, I guess. I'm more reserved in terms of that because I don't want to tell somebody the wrong thing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean,
And
that's the
I
fun
think
part
they're
about
looking for that as opposed to commentary. You know what I mean?
it.
I more offer the commentary.
Yeah,
So,
the fun thing about therapy is there's no right or wrong answer, really.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
an answer is better than no answer.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, what's next?
What's next on the docket? Man, we're only 30 minutes in and we've already done half the stuff that we do.
I figured we would have done one more Dear
You
Dick.
want you want to do another one?
We did too.
All right, let's do two. All right.
Feeling very givey today.
Well, that's good. Um, all right. This one, subject line. I, 34 male, don't want another baby with my wife, 35 female, after unsuccessful IVF treatment. Please help.
Okay.
Here's the email. So I am at a bit of a crossroads with my wife. We have two small kids and she wants more. I don't. We recently had an unsuccessful IVF treatment and my wife really wants to try it again. The whole process was nothing short of hardship, especially for her. I was reluctant to start the IVF treatment at the start, but I agreed knowing how much she wanted another baby. It has now come to an emotional head for me as having two young kids, a new job, and moving to rented accommodation in the countryside in the coming months while we build a house is all very stressful, and adding another round of IVF and potentially a newborn baby is absolutely stressing me out, and it's not something I necessarily want to do myself. I told my wife this, and she said if she doesn't have another baby, she will resent me for the rest of our lives for stopping her having another one. So I've basically been given an ultimatum as presumably she will leave me if we don't have more kids. I have no idea what to do. Please help.
Well,
Yeah.
not to be like a dick, but sometimes you have to in therapy. I would run for the hills because, like you said, she just gave you an ultimatum. Either you spend 20 grand at least to knock me up medically, or I'm going to find someone else that will. And she's going to resent you for the rest of her life. What if you guys try fucking 10 more times? You guys drop $2 million.
Yeah.
I guess 200,000, but you drop $200,000. 10 more times of trying and not getting
Yeah.
successfully.
What point is enough?
So does that mean because you tried and it didn't work, she's still going to resent you? Like you fucking tried. Like it's not your fault it didn't work. Like her equipment is malfunctioning,
Right.
hence why you have to
Well,
go the
you have two. A young, as they say, is a small. Two small kids. So let's assume under 10. Two
yeah,
kids under 10. I guess I understand wanting three, four, five kids, but it's not like you don't have any. You do have two.
right, right,
So I guess my question here would be is he's obviously taking the resent statement as a serious statement. I don't know this person or his wife. But
right,
sometimes people say things that they don't actually mean. It's more or less a manipulation tactic. I will resent you for the rest of our life if we don't try. As a manipulation tactic to get him and sway him into agreeing to something that she wants. But will she really resent him? Mm, that's where knowing the person kind of
yeah.
helps.
But on the same token, though, like coming as a middle child, my parents had three children. I'm a middle child. Middle child syndrome is a very real thing. So
Yeah,
let's say you give in and you're like, all right, well, let's fucking go for another round. And then you have another one. And a year later, hey, I want another IVF. If you don't give me another one, I'm going to leave you and I'm going to resent you forever and I'll find someone else that can. If you don't put an end to it now, it's going to continue.
yeah,
And maybe next time it's going to be, hey, I really want these shoes. Well, honey, those shoes are $52 billion. But I really want them. If you don't get them, I'm going to resent you forever. Like you're kind of starting that process now.
Yeah,
You know, and obviously $52 billion is ludicrous, but you get my point.
yeah.
It's always going to be something, and she's always going to throw that card. That's her trump card, and she'll play it because it works every time with you. So until
So
you put your foot down, it's going to continue to happen.
yeah. So for an example, my wife said, uh, either, and I'll just give a nonsensical example, but if you don't buy me that car, I'm going to resent you forever. And yada, yada. I'd say, resent me. You're not getting the car, at least not from me. You know what I mean? Or I would be like, well, I guess you better start working some overtime so you can afford that, or whatever, right? But that's how I would handle it. But I also have that kind of relationship with my wife that I can just tell her that. You know what I mean? And but
Right,
I
right.
also don't take her statement of I will resent you forever seriously because I know it's probably not truly I'm going to resent you for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? I take it more of like a you're just saying it because you want this thing and you're trying to sway me, but I'm going to shut it down by saying go ahead and fucking resent me. I don't really care.
Right.
And let it be. And usually then we've moved on. You know what I mean? Uh, But that's my relationship. If your wife came up to you and said, Dave, I want you already have a hot tub. I want a hot tub. Let's say you didn't have a hot tub. I want a hot tub, and if you don't buy it for me, I'm going to resent you. What would you then say to her? Would you buy the hot tub, or how would you respond?
I would not respond by buying her a hot tub because yeah, same thing. I know her and I know she might say that to try and manipulate me, but bottom line is if I don't do it, she's not going to, you know. So yes, going back to what you had said, knowing the person a little further and knowing whether she means that or not, because there are people that I know that would say that and would mean that.
Right.
And so maybe the only reason I think she and I took her as at her word is because it was enough for him to email and say, "Hey,
Yeah.
this is what she's saying. What the fuck do I do?" Which means I believe he feels she would actually resent him and hate him and treat him like shit for the rest of his life.
So why why then can't he respond with if you are twisting my arm and forcing me into a third kid that I don't want, I will resent you for the rest of my life. Is
Because he's
that a
not.
fair statement to fire back with?
No, no,
Why?
and because well, one, it's
I
me
mean, if
calling.
she's using resent, why wouldn't I mean, he doesn't want a third kid. So
Right.
wouldn't that like wouldn't he have some built up maybe hidden resentment towards her for forcing him into something he doesn't want? Just like she's
He,
forcing him into something he doesn't, you know what I mean?
I think personality wise, he doesn't have it in him to resent her for it. Like he understands that's what she wants. He can't give it to her, but he's not going to resent her for wanting it and putting him in that position because he sounds like he's a nice guy. But going back into why can't he just say that? Well, that's just like me calling you a fag, and then you turn around and call me a fag. Like just because I called you one, you're gonna call me one back. It's just it's we're in the same position now. We're at the same impasse. Nothing's changed. So there's no point in telling her that because it's not gonna change. She's not gonna be like, oh shit, well, because you're gonna resent me because I did that, I guess I shouldn't do it. So
It's more of a tit for tat. I'm just trying to think, well,
yeah,
how do you, I don't know if I like well just run for the hills like because I don't know if I believe the resent statement. I guess I am sure there are
that's
people out there that say it and actually mean it, but really forever you're going to resent that. And in terms of that, is it any future argument or whatever you're going to bring this shit up, and then that's just always going to be a tool?
yeah,
But
it's
then
always
is
going to be.
that divorce worthy, because now you have broken family with two small children and all this stuff, and let's say she does then go on find somebody else and has a third kid and now all because you didn't want to spend 20 grand or whatever IVF costs. Like if you don't, to me, if you don't want a third kid and she does, that's something you guys need to go into couples counseling and hash out this resentment statement and your feelings of stopping now and her feelings of wanting more, and how do we get through that? Because there has to be a give and take here. It can't
Well, and
just
that's
be
the thing
whatever the
is,
fuck she wants, and it can't be whatever the fuck he wants, but what's the agreement that they could come to?
well, that's the problem is knowing all the different scenarios of what could happen, and that's the way I look at it with these situations. Not knowing everything, I look at worst case scenario for all of them to give them the best advice I can. So I know a situation where the husband did not want kids, female did or wife did want kids. She would purposely get him drunk to have sex so he wouldn't put a condom on. And then when he got to the point where fuck it, I don't care if I'm drunk or not, we're fucking with a condom. She then, when he was at work, would go through all of their condoms and poke holes in the condoms with a needle.
Well,
And so let's say this is the same situation. She wants a kid. She's gonna do anything she can. So maybe she says, "All right, fine, we're not gonna do IVF, but maybe if it's meant to be, if she's one of those people that believes if it's meant to happen, it's going to happen. I'm going to poke holes in every condom, and I'm going to get him drunk so he doesn't use a condom, and I'm going to hope that maybe by the gods of chance I get pregnant, and whoop, we're pregnant now, yay! You know, she's gonna find her way to get what she wants. Now, the other thing too is looking at it this way: if he says no, we're not doing it. I don't want another fucking kid. She's like, all right, fine, then we won't. And then she goes out and finds somebody else that will do it with her, or she starts cheating on him to try
so
and
it
get.
still ends up being a broken home.
That's why I said run for the hills now. Yep.
Man,
Yeah.
well, I guess that's it. I don't know. Yeah. You'd have to know the person to know if the resent statement's real. He obviously believes it is.
Mhm.
I tend to be on the side. I'm more of that doubting Thomas question everything thing where I bet you within 5 minutes of meeting this lady, I could tell you if it's real or not.
Right.
Um, just based on if she's to see you next Tuesday or if she's like logical. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And if she's a see you next Tuesday, then yes, every future argument, fight, whatever, this will get brought up. And that
Yeah.
will be miserable. But, I don't know. You got the two kids. I don't know how, like, if she's vindictive enough, even if you run for the hills now, this is a lady who's going to try and put you in a situation where not only are you paying alimony, but you're paying child support. You're and,
Yep.
and she will be relentless because she's a see you next Tuesday, it sounds like.
Yeah.
And this is going to be a nightmare scenario. This guy is between a rock and a hard place, and the only way he can appease this situation is by probably just going through another round. Maybe, then I'll suggest this. If he says, listen, I'm going to give you one more round of IVF. If that does not happen, there is no resent. There is no future. We're going to try again. It's two and done. We have two kids. I don't really want a third. I'll do this for you, but we are not going to go through this again if this doesn't work. And if she can't agree to that, then she is not compromising. And then at that point you can say, all right, well, you won't even compromise. So basically, you have no end game here. It is, we will go into astronomical debt to basically have another kid that makes literally no sense for this marriage, this relationship. So then maybe we just need to call it quits. You still end up in the same position where she's going to go for everything. She's going to go for the child support, the alimony, the whatever. Or you can try and save your thing, deal with maybe having one more kid with the underlying hope that it doesn't go through, but at least you can maybe get her to agree to two and done. And then you only have to go into say what, another 20 to 50 thousand dollars. I don't know what it cost, but I don't know. I mean,
It's a big commitment to
it's
be
like
like, all
buying a
right,
car.
well,
Let's just say it's like buying
well,
a
yeah,
car,
but I mean,
but yet
I'm
a car
talking
that
more
always
like,
is expensive for the next 18 years.
well, that's what I'm saying. Like, Why should he have to be like, all right, well, fuck it, we're gonna pay another 20 grand to try again when he doesn't want to try again? He shouldn't have to. That's why I'm saying,
But well, yeah, but I mean, if you there has to be like a negotiation, I think. Like, okay, you're saying you will resent forever, but I get no say in this? Why is it only your say? We're assuming this is, and I understand why you go to worst case scenario. We're assuming this is a see you next Tuesday type of personality. But what if she can be reasoned with? Like,
if she can,
you
he would have
can
already.
negotiate. Marriages are give and take. It's not all just her, 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 her. And if it is, then he's already got himself into a situation. If but you have to sit there and say, hey, marriages are give and take. We had to. I did the IVF. It didn't work. Why can't that be enough? And let her explain herself without using the word resent. And then, I'm not saying he has to cave and do one more, but I'm saying there has to be. This is where I think having a counselor sit and talk to both of them, because you have to. Each one has to give and take here. And if like, gotta remember, we're only getting his side of the story.
Right. But the other thing too is with couples counseling or any type of counseling, everyone has tried everything that they can first. Counseling is always the last resort. So going into it with that mindset, he's already had these conversations with her to
Yeah,
the best of his ability. So she's not being reasonable. She's basically saying either you fucking give me this kid or we're going to be divorced.
yeah,
And then he's like, I don't want to, but I also don't know how to communicate with her to say, hey, I don't want another fucking kid. It doesn't make any sense. We've already got two. We're already fucking that much in debt. We're not doing it again. She's
yeah,
not listening because that's why I said that he's already had these conversations. He's already tried to negotiate. He's tried to do everything he possibly can. Counseling, especially with couples, like I said, is always the last resort.
yeah,
Always. So it's never like, oh, things are really perfect. Let's go get a couples counseling just to see if we can make our things better. No, it's I fucking hate you. I cheated on you. I did this. I did that. I have a porn addiction. I'm doing too much drugs. Now we're close to getting divorced. We fight all the time. Let's go into counseling. Okay. You come into counseling and I start talking to you about things. And you're like, well, yeah, she has a porn addiction. He cheated on me and she's drinking all the time. He's doing fucking heroin all the time. And we always fight because we either drunk or high or he's fucking watching porn and jerking it. Can't have sex. So he doesn't have sex with me. So I cheat on him. But we want to make things work, but we don't know how. All right, we'll stop fucking doing heroin. Nope, not doing that. Well, then you're never gonna fucking make it.
yeah,
Stop fucking cheating on him. Well, until he stops jerking off. I was like, well, why don't you fucking jerk off with him? Like, have mutual masturbation, do something. You know what I mean? Like, there are options,
yeah.
sometimes, especially with porn.
Okay, so in this scenario,
Yep.
without, I just don't like telling people to go get divorced unless it's like I've caught them cheating on me 100 times, and the part, all that shit you just said. Uh, this is there any way this can be negotiated?
I'm gonna say no. Otherwise, that would have already happened.
So you don't think that they can? I mean, it is a lot. You're building a house, so I mean, you're literally, we would be crashing this entire thing. The house no longer gets built, or it stops halfway through. The two kids, I mean, this guy's got a nightmare. He started a new job.
Right.
Um, I guess so. I would like to talk to this guy and say, once the house is built, you're 2 years into the new job. Would you then consider IVF at that point? Would you feel in a better place? That would put his wife at 37. Now, we're not quite there, but we're getting close to the point where we're going to age out, right? So, and if he said, yeah, maybe in 2 years I'd be okay, that puts him at 36, her at 37. Okay. Uh, Do we have uh, if he were to say that to her now, if she's like, no, it has to happen now. I guess I'm curious. I'd like to talk to her and say, Why is it that none of these potential options are options? Because how do you expect to build a house, raise the two kids? He's starting a new job. I'm assuming she doesn't work. It doesn't say anything about that, but let's just be honest. If they have two small children, she's probably a stay-at-home mom. So this dude's just gonna fucking pay for everything. He's just a bank to her. So you're probably right. She probably is a see you next Tuesday because there's no like consideration. It doesn't sound like for him. I'd like to talk to her. I'd like to talk to each one separately to get more detail. But I'm a little more hesitant to just jump right to divorce. But you're probably right. It's probably the only real good way to get out of this up front. I just hate that only because if she can't even negotiate with this and they can just agree to not do the IVF and or agree to do one more and done. Like if we can't, there can't be an agreement there. Then and it is her way or the highway. Then in divorce he's fucked. Like 100%. There's no way he comes out on top here because if she's stay-at-home mom, the alimony's a guarantee. The child support's already a guarantee because she's stay-at-home mom. She's probably going to get the fucking thing, and she probably will then go out and find another guy that will do the thing, unless I don't know. That would be the other like nail, almost like the post nail in this coffin is if they end up getting divorced and then she doesn't even pursue somebody else to go through the IVF with, you did all this for nothing. You could have just stayed married, not done the IVF, and lived happily ever after. It's the whole resent thing that is causing this problem here. That he has taken to heart. And I am of the mindset that it was more of a manipulation, but I don't know her.
Right. And like I said, I'm going off of just the information that I have.
Yeah. I don't know. This is an ugly situation. I think you need to go find fucking, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. I don't want to sit here and say, yeah, just go get divorced. But you probably need to go talk to an attorney and and yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm
So,
gonna go. I don't know. I'll say go talk to attorney and see if we can get them into couples counseling. I understand it's usually the last resort, a couple of counseling, but if we can have a mediator in terms of the counselor that tries to walk each one through, and they've probably had the conversation, but maybe they can have this conversation in front of somebody that can set a light bulb off and, huh?
I said help navigate it.
Yeah, help navigate it because maybe he is a giant pushover in terms of like he can't argue. He can't say his point because she's just dominating. A mediator will help navigate and allow him to speak and give his opinions, allow him to give his thoughts, but that she's probably never heard because she dominates the conversations. We're assuming here, but you know what I mean. If it's that scenario, then that allows him, and maybe she doesn't, maybe she needs, who knows? Either way, your absolute worst case scenario here is you end up divorced and you're paying child support and alimony. That is your
Right.
worst case scenario. Your other worst case scenario is that you agree to the IVF and you go further into debt at a time that you don't need to take on more debt.
Right.
But you stay married to this person that hypothetically you love and you have two kids with, potentially a third. Yeah, I mean, he needs help here in terms of navigating his situation. If he's a pushover, he needs help with somebody to allow him to speak or get his point across so that they can negotiate a middle ground or amicably come to an agreement of divorce, basically. Because if
Yeah.
she's the one saying, if you don't do this thing, I will get divorced from you, okay, it's you motivated. And then he should fight like hell to get fucking full custody.
And he might because he's got the job.
Maybe. I mean, it's not like he's completely screwed, but they typically lean towards the mom, and you know what I mean, how you know how that goes. So
Yep.
he's just gonna have a big fight ahead of him, no matter what. It's whichever path he decides to take. Um, so there you go. That one went a little longer than we thought, but that's partly on my fault because I like to play devil's advocate a little bit, and
Yeah,
I don't know. These situations get messy really quick.
they do. Welcome
Okay,
to my daily life, my friend.
yeah. I mean, I'll transition now into what you're watching, but it'll kind of be tied to the Dear Dave we just did. He could always choose murder.
Good. He could.
So speaking of murder,
I
I
wouldn't
hate how he says it.
recommend.
I fucking hate how he says it. Murder.
I
Like,
wouldn't recommend it, but that is an option. So you're watching Traders.
no, I'm finished with Traitors,
Okay.
and in a 2 weeks we managed to hammer through it all,
Nice.
and including the reunion episode of season 3 of the Traitors.
Yeah.
So,
Thoughts?
um, the oh, just for everybody's like I'm going to spoil the shit out of the end of this season. So if you have not seen season 3 of the Traitors, we're going from episode 5 through the end at this point. Because last episode we covered 1 through 4. Not a
Yep.
whole lot of spoilers there. Now we're going to talk about the end of the fucking thing. It's just we're going to jump right to it. So now it's your time. Pause the
Yep.
episode and come back after you've seen it, or just deal. Okay. I did not see those four remaining, those particular four. I thought it was absolutely fucking epic that Danielle recruits Brittany and then she votes her out right afterwards. That's fucking brilliant. And you know how they edited the show
Yeah.
where they go to the vote and then it's next episode where you see how she votes. And I
Yep.
kept telling because that was where we ended it for the night. And it's we're like 10 o'clock and I'm like, oh, fucking, I'll take off work. We're gonna watch it or whatever. And she's like, no, we're gonna whatever. And um, I was like, because I did not like Danielle on this show. I didn't like her. I thought she was an overactor, an overreactor. I just didn't care for her.
Joy
Um,
hated her too.
and so I was like, I swear, and I hope to God Brittany votes for her. And it was all because of the eye look from Dolores.
Yep.
That did that. And but what I thought was odd at the reunion, Dolores is like, "Oh, I didn't do that. That was all edited." And they're like, "It was on the show." Like but I guess how you edit things. But then what was it? Because Brittany's saying that, "Oh no, I didn't think she. I thought everybody was going to sway to her, which they did." But her vote would have, if she would have voted for Ivar, it would have been a tie, which would have left it to chance. Which So here's my question to you. In the previous 2 seasons or the other versions of this show, did they ever come to a tie where it was left up to chance? And then if so, what was the chance? Like, what do they do in the chance decision?
Okay, so if it becomes a tie, let's say it's between you and Lala. Okay. They would then revote, and you could only vote for you or Lala, and that's it.
Hmm, that's what happened. They came to a
Yeah.
tie and they
Yeah.
had to either vote Ivar or Danielle.
Right.
But Alan Cummings says if it's still a tie because they had enough people that could have tied again, if Brittany would have voted Ivar, it would have been another tie. And he says if it's another tie, we leave it up to chance. So what does chance mean?
Oh, I don't know. We've never gotten that far.
Okay,
Or
so it's
maybe.
never happened in the
Oh,
show's history. Okay, that's what I was curious about. I haven't seen season 1 or 2 yet. So I was just curious, like, what is the chance? Do they flip a fucking coin? Do they battle it out in a wrestling ring? Like, what's the chance? I guess I'd like to know that. It
I
didn't,
guess it would be a flip of a coin.
yeah, something like that. Yeah. Anyways, I thought it was brilliant that Brittany gets recruited, votes her out. I mean, it was pretty good. I liked that. I honestly did not expect when they throw their the color powder into the
Yeah.
fire. I
Yeah.
thought for sure Dolores was not going to end the game. I thought for sure she was going after Dylan, wanted him
Oh
voted out,
yeah.
which I guarantee you Gabby would have agreed with. So they would have voted Dylan out. Then I think they all would have agreed, but it would have been even more fucking uh, crazy if they did, vote to get Dylan out. But then if they were still suspicious of Ivar, them two girls could have teamed up, got rid of Ivar too, and the two of them took the fucking 200,000 and split it. But it would have been nuts if like Gabby ended up being a fucking traitor at that point because Dolores would have got rid of all these other, you know what I mean? Either way, she would have walked away with the money if she
Yeah.
was a traitor. But I was I was glad to see that Dolores didn't do that. And then the only other thing I think I would have done differently in Danielle's position when she had the opportunity to recruit was I think it would have been very interesting if she would have recruited Dylan
Yeah.
because I honestly think at that point the Traitors would have won
I agree.
because I don't think he would have voted for Danielle, or if he did, nobody would have suspected him. Even though he thought he had a lot of heat on him, I don't think anybody really thought he was, and that would have shocked everyone if they would have gotten to that point. The four threw their things in the end of the game, and Dylan's the fucking traitor because he would have made it to that same point. I think Danielle probably still would have got booted out, and they probably would have still got Brittany out, which would have left him, and then he would have taken it all. I
Yeah.
really think like she fucked up by not picking him, in my opinion.
Yeah. Dude, so we're watching Australia right now, season 2, and it's a fucking clusterfuck.
Even worse than this season.
Oh my God, yes. One was bad. Australia one was terrible. There's a guy on there that looks like Uncle Fester on season 1.
Yeah, you said that.
And he is, I'm 100% sure this person's a fucking traitor. I know they're a traitor. He's a traitor. He went to everyone. This person's a traitor. I know he's a traitor. They're a traitor. He's a traitor. They're a traitor. And then they didn't get voted out. Someone else got voted out and they weren't a traitor. And he's like, I told you, you got to vote for this person, this person, this person. And every time they're like, the more you say this, the more you look like you're a traitor. So then they finally voted his ass out. But that was the first season. He was bad. And
Did he
then
get the traitor right though? Was he right?
no.
No, he was way off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Way off. And then this new one, yeah, it's you want to talk about fucking traders going after traders? Second season Australia. Holy fuck.
They're just hammering him, huh?
Yeah. So we're on episode 5 now, I think. But on episode 2, one of the traders went after one of the other traders. And now that's super early.
Yeah, on
And
episode two.
yeah, and his thing was he's like, if I get her out as a trader, I'm going to look like a faithful. That's going to solidify me as a faithful. So I'm going to do that. So he started telling people, "Oh, I'm pretty sure it's her. I'm pretty sure it's her. It's pretty sure." But nobody really bought into it because he didn't have a lot of evidence. And then she found out about it on the second day he did it. He did it for 2 days straight. The second day she found out about it and flat out called him out on it. And he lied, of course. He's like, I didn't try to float your name out there, but I do think you're a traitor. And he made some very good arguments on her, and she got voted out. And the other, because at that time there was 3 traitors. They only picked 3 for this episode or for this season. And the other traitor was like, dude, like, what the fuck? And he's like, well, I didn't plan on it, but she was throwing my name out there, so I had to. And then this last episode we
Very
just
similar to Boston Rob and Bob the drag queen.
yes. Well, this is worse now because the other traitor, literally last night's episode, uh, other faithfuls, pretty much there's 2 faithfuls that know the two. I know they're both ones. I'm gonna say it right now. It's this person and this person. But she went so hard at the other person that she really looked like a traitor. So she got voted out. And then at the end, when they're up at their tower, the guy that she was really gunning for was like, dude, what the fuck? Like, you pushed the other one out, and now I don't believe a word you fucking say. Like, I don't trust you. I don't like you. Like, this is not good. And he's like, I would never vote you off. And he's like, you said that to all of us. And here you are throwing her name out there. And she got voted up. So now it's just the two of us. They had the option to recruit. He just said not to recruit. He's like, I don't want to recruit. We don't need anybody else. It's just us two. And he's running the game. And the other trader is fucking scared. And he's like, yeah, I don't know. And then they killed the other person to basically, because the other guy was really smart.
Yeah.
He knew, and so they killed him. And the first thing he says, the guy that everyone suspects, first thing he says when they get back is like, they killed him. The traitors killed him. Like they're framing me. Everyone's going to think it's me and it's not me. I wouldn't, why would I do that? That makes no sense. I would never do that because that would really point a finger at me. And that's where we stopped it. So we don't know what's happened yet from then. But dude, it's crazy because
That's
they
Boston
fuck
Rob, dude. That's
it. But he's not playing it that way.
right.
He thinks he's Boston Rob, but he's playing it like the Down syndrome version of Boston Rob. Like he's not being very smart,
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, so this season is really good. I like every season of Trader, no matter if it's the American version or the Australian version that I've watched. I love them. They're
Now,
so
who hosts? Is it a different host for each one?
yeah, yep,
Okay.
different hosts. The one in I think New Zealand or UK is a female. The one in Australia is a guy. His name's Roger something. He's some type of actor in Australia. Everyone knows who he is.
Hmm.
Um, but I have no idea who he is. He's very funny. He's
Are,
not as flamboyant as Alan Cummings, so
that's
you
what I
might
was gonna
actually like
say. Do
him.
they wear weird outfits and are they very flamboyant like Alan
No,
Cumming?
he's like James Bond.
Okay.
He's very, very, very coy, very cunning, very good, sharp wit. He's very
Yeah.
funny. He has some really funny things.
Yeah.
So, and I do like him. Uh,
Um,
one of the actual actors on, or one of the cast members of the second season is like an Australian Survivor All-Star, and everyone knows who he is. And then there's an actor from like a TV cop drama, and the one guy was like, I think he is because he's a fucking drama, he's an actor, he can act, he was in a crime show, and the guy's like, hey, don't forget, I won awards. And as soon as he said that, Roger was like, yeah, and just let you know that it is nice to be nominated also. Because he's only obviously been nominated for his shit. He's never won
yeah.
anything. But so he makes a lot of jokes about himself too. So it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So have you
So
watched the UK version or no?
I, no, we started a version. I don't know. I'll have to look to see which one. We started one, but they were so thick that Joy couldn't understand and didn't want to read the subtitles, so we stopped watching it.
Yeah.
But I think once we're done with Australia season two, which is the last season that they have, we'll probably go back because there is the New Zealand, there's UK, and I think there's one other one. So we'll probably go back and watch them because she is hooked.
So after the season three ended, I thought it would like it obviously doesn't suggest to go back and watch one and two because it's assuming if you've watched three, you've already watched one and two.
Right. Right.
And it like disappeared, so I have to like go research it. But what it auto suggested was UK and New Zealand, but I wouldn't it didn't bring up Australia, so I thought, well, that's weird. Like, so I don't know. After talking to my wife, like she didn't say let's go back and watch one and two, and I had been saying, oh, when we're done with this, we'll watch one and two. She didn't seem like she actually seemed more like we're gonna go to an actual drama. So I might not end up watching any more Traders until maybe next season.
Yeah.
Because I think she'll watch another season. I just don't know if she's gonna want to go back. She didn't seem interested in checking out other countries or one and two, which is odd to me, but
Yeah.
it is what it is. So, um,
Which is weird because they're all fucking celebrity housewives and shit and stuff that she watches.
And
She
maybe I just
know
need
all
to
those
like put
people.
it on. I don't know, but she had mentioned starting Yellowstone,
Oh, okay. Yeah, go to
so
Yellowstone.
so I'm not like totally against it. If she was like, "Oh, we're gonna watch," that brings me to a stupid joke that I had made. So during the reunion, and I forget. I think the host guy from Bravo, he says something about, "Well, let's talk to the first person to get voted out, Dorinda. She's one of the housewives or whatever." And then they let that bitch just keep talking and talking and talking, and I was like, how irrelevant this is, even to the reunion, because one, nobody gives a shit. You were the first one to get voted off. And two, you're getting more fucking airtime during this reunion
Because you
than
did the
what you
whole
got
show.
during the show. So what are we doing here? And why was she so pissed off over, the comment that Bob the drag queen made? I don't even know, because I literally sat there to my wife. I was like, I don't even know who the fuck she is. So she's literally irrelevant. I said she must be from the Real Housewives of No One Gives a Shit County or something like that. Whatever I said, but it
Yeah,
was like, because I've never heard of her, and she watches this shit, and she didn't even know who the fuck she was. So she must not be that popular of one of the housewives,
yeah,
because I
no,
don't know who the fuck she is, and my wife didn't either, and she watches all that shit. So,
right,
but I thought, man, you're giving this lady a lot of time on the reunion that is not warranted, in my opinion. I
right.
would have rather hear from the people that everybody actually fucking knows. And then the only other thing I'll bring up, and we were both stumped on this without going back and rewatching the beginning. Who the fuck is Wells?
Wells.
Yeah, that's my point, Dave.
I don't
Apparently,
remember.
there's a guy that's named Wells was at this reunion, and we're like, who the fuck is Wells? Like, we remembered Dorinda from
Yeah.
being the first one voted out, but we're looking at each other like, when did Wells get voted out, or when did he get murdered? We can't recall a guy named Wells. He doesn't even look familiar. So I think some random dudes got on fucking set during the reunion. I swear to God, I have no idea who this guy is. I don't recall him at all.
I have to watch the reunion to see him again because we've watched so many seasons since then that I can't remember. They
Yeah,
all
there's
blend
too many people you're trying to remember, but
together. Yeah.
but we just watched it.
Right.
And within a 2 week time span, we've forgotten who this guy is. We don't recall him ever being there. So it made no sense. Like, who the fuck is Wells?
Yeah, I don't remember.
They
I'll have to
must have murdered him. The traitors must have, but he he was must have been like kind of like Britney Spears' ex. How for the first 6 episodes you don't he's not even shown on screen other than when it's a group activity, because he doesn't talk, he doesn't do anything. He's just
right.
there.
Well, that's like in Australia. They must have one in every season because, or every show, because Australia season one, there's a guy called Paul. The first 5 or 6 episodes, you don't even see him. And then he just shows up. He's just there. And you know he's been there the whole time, but he had like no screen time whatsoever.
Yeah.
It was so funny because I was like, he should just be a fucking traitor because no one talks about him. He's not in any show. Like, he should be the fucking traitor, you know?
Honestly, I think like if they would have made Britney Spears' ex a traitor. But see, I think the thing with being a traitor is they all tend to act like Boston Rob or Bob the Drag Queen or something like that. They're more um like about it, going around giving names, starting shit, right? Because they're trying to run the game. And if you're a traitor, but you don't do any of that, you just kind of let it all play out and just shut the fuck up and don't say anything. I mean,
Right.
has there ever really been a traitor that's played the game like, say, Britney Spears' ex, where they just don't talk?
No.
And I think it's because the traitors are their whole thing is they have to guide and get rid of people.
Right, right.
And
Yeah,
if you're
they
not
should
doing
learn
your part, but I feel like if you just stay quiet, then nobody can fucking come after you because what evidence do they have?
right.
You know what I mean? If you have to be a traitor but play the game like a faithful,
Mhm.
where you don't say anything. If somebody comes up to you and asks your opinion, you can give it. But you don't go around trying to find people. I don't know how many times they edited in that, Caroline, is acting frantic, going from room to room looking for, but that is a clear fucking thing. Like if I was put on this show, I would just stand there and watch people looking frantic. And I would say, you have to be a fucking traitor because that's what traitors do. They're going around trying to find people they need to tell or talk to because whatever, you're a traitor. You're clearly a fucking traitor. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I think even just watching one season, there would be ways to go in and just kind of observe, and you'd be able to figure this shit out. I think maybe not.
No, I agree. I think there is. I think
I
there
don't
is.
recall Ivar ever being frantic.
Right.
I don't recall Dylan ever being frantic. They kind of just chilled in a room.
Mhm.
All the traitors were the ones acting frantic all the time. It's because they know too much. You know what I mean? And they are trying to maneuver the game. So that's all you really got to watch for, I think.
No, I agree. I agree.
I mean, I don't know. I'll never end up on a show like this, but it would be interesting to try and go on there. I think I'd probably, if I was a faithful, I think I'd end up getting murdered
Yeah.
because, yeah, I would just sit back and watch.
Yeah, I think it'd be
Uh,
cool.
and
I'd
then,
like to do a show like that. I think it'd be interesting.
well, it'd be fun for sure. But,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. Anyways,
I've been watching Shifting Gears.
shifting gear. Oh, with Tim Allen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Tim Allen. I like that he doesn't cower to Hollywood. And I like when people make fun of themselves or give nods to their career. He walked in to the scene on this last episode I watched. Walked in, it was him, his daughter, that what Kat Dennings or whatever her name is. His daughter and then her daughter were in the kitchen, and he said something, and he's like, "What's next?" He's going to be the voice of Buzz Lightyear, which
Hmm.
I think is funny,
Yeah.
And then later in the episode, Sean William Scott's in the show. He's a mechanic working for Tim Allen in Tim Allen's shop, and his daughter comes into the office or into the shop, and she looks at Sean William Scott's like, "Dude, where's my car?" And I was like, "Oh my God, that's so fucking awesome," you know.
Yeah.
He was in, "Where's my car?" It's just, and he kind of just looked at her at first, and then went did the rest of it, and I like shit like that.
Yeah.
I really do. You know, that's like if you and I were, you know, there you go. Now you're back. I was just recording it to show you that you're frozen.
No, you were frozen.
No, you were, bro.
Well, how the people are going to be seeing this is it's going to appear as though you froze, not me.
That's fine.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I assumed like you were about to say something and then it just froze. And I kind of just sat here and started laughing and talked about it. Like Dave's frozen and I don't know if he's going to come unfrozen on this one. And then it like whatever. And now it just came back up. It like went off the screen, the whole thing, and came back up. And here we are.
How was you frozen?
Yeah, me laughing at you for being frozen.
Yeah, weird.
Well, anyways, so you were saying something
Did
about
you get the whole "Dude, where's my car" thing?
got the dude, where's my car? It was after that. So he
I
was
just I like that's if you and I were doing a TV show and making throwbacks to Phones Exco and confrontations
yeah,
and the techie,
yeah.
making those kind of things, or we throw out Bill Nye the lawyer guy or the judge
Yeah.
or something like that.
Basically what we do. Because
Yeah,
we do that every once in a while. And like faithful listeners and viewers would know what we're talking about.
yeah.
The ones
I'm
that
a
are
traitor
new to
guy.
the show or don't have a clue of our past would have no idea what we're talking about. It just sounds like some weird random shit that we're throwing out there, you know?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. No, it's cool. I like that.
yeah. No, I like the subliminal inside joke type of things. Those are like that's my kind of comedy. I love inside joke comedy.
I'm fairly certain there was a Tool Time reference and There was another show he was on, the one where what the fuck was that one? The last show he was on, um, the wife from Home Improvement was on,
Yeah,
and one of the sons was on. Taylor, what was his
yeah,
name? He was
yeah,
on, and when they were talking, he's like, "Man, this feels like comfortable. This feels normal."
yeah.
We're in the kitchen talking or something like that. And I was like, those are the things I like. You know what I mean? Like if they had like a Wilson character show up, would be really cool.
Yeah.
You but I do like that shit. I do. Anytime Tim Allen's on the show, I try and watch it. Joy won't watch it because she hates laugh tracks.
Oh, is it
And,
laugh track and not studio audience?
yeah, I think it's a mixture of both.
Okay. If the
But
audience didn't do good enough laugh, they add a
yeah,
little extra.
they added their own. Yeah. So, but it's good. But yeah, those are really the only things. I'm going to see Minecraft this weekend. Like not today, but next Saturday because it
Yeah,
comes out on Friday. I planned on going to see Working Men yesterday. It just didn't work out. I want to see that.
yeah. We were talking about that Friday night. We were considering that one or what was the other one? There was another one that we were kind of considering. Um, our buddy Zach Miser is in the Alto Wars or whatever that's out right now.
Okay.
He plays like a highway patrolman or something like that in that movie.
Hmm.
But my wife watched the preview and wasn't interested, and I'm really not interested either because it's a De Niro movie,
Oh,
and I
okay.
don't like De Niro. I think he kind of
Yeah.
went off the deep end with his hatred, his Trump derangement syndrome. So I kind of
Yeah.
I'm good on that.
I did find an older movie with Ed Norton and De Niro that's on my Vudu now. It's called Stone. I'd never seen it before, but I really like Ed Norton.
Yeah,
And so I bought it. Ed Norton's in prison, and I don't know if De Niro's a counselor in prison or a parole officer. I'm not sure what exactly he is, but he's the one in charge of of Ed Norton's character in the film, and it looks pretty good. It's old school. It's got Mila Djokovic or whatever her name is.
yeah,
So,
nice.
but I
Other than
think
that, I haven't watched anything else. It's been
yeah.
Traitors. We just been doing things on that, and then um,
Do you
there's a
watch?
movie I started last night called Bliss. It's got what's his nose on there? You know, the guy with the weird nose, the
Owen Wilson.
Owen Wilson. Yeah, you knew.
I've seen it.
And you've seen it? Have you seen that movie, Bliss?
Yeah, yeah.
It's got Salma Hayek in it or something, and it's about
Uh,
like the world being a simulation or something.
yeah.
I like how I probably made it 20, 25 minutes into it. There's that one scene where they're talking in the street and in the background, there's people walking and it populates another person and another person populates. It's like those subtle things. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, look at that. So it's really like, I thought it was crazy when he gets fired and he like stands up real fast and the boss falls backwards and dies. And so then he goes, hangs him at the window. And he's just,
I I have to watch it again. It's been a minute since I've seen it.
but I want to finish it because it was like interesting to me. And I just got too tired and fell asleep. But so I do want to finish that. But that's it. That's the only things I've been watching. We didn't go see any
Watch
movies.
you
Uh,
watch Reacher?
the show or the
The
movie?
show. Yeah, the show.
No.
It's fucking good.
Did you ask me about these shows? You should know. I don't. I'll tell you when
And
I watch a show.
no, we just finished Reacher, season 2 or 3, whatever they have out. We just finished that yesterday. That's actually really good too.
It's not starring Tom Cruise, right?
Mm. Alan Richardson or something.
Okay.
I've never seen him before. He's a big fucking dude, man.
Yeah.
He's a big dude.
Well, supposedly that's in the books because the Reacher books are they're based on the Reacher character is based on a
Yeah,
book,
yeah.
and in the book it's a massive dude. And I had heard people like not online. This is like in real life. People were talking about this, and this one person was talking about the books because I had read them all, and like the how infuriated they were with Tom Cruise playing that because Tom Cruise is a little tiny guy,
Yeah, he's like
and
two
the
foot three.
character is supposed to be this big, giant, massive fucking dude. So I was curious if for the show if they had made a big dude or whatever because I knew the show existed, but I haven't seen the show. So
Yeah, he's a big dude. And he actually in this season had to fight a bigger dude.
really
Yeah, it was big guy versus big guy.
nice.
Like Eric Redbeard, big guy.
Oh yeah, 6'8",
I don't know. I
340.
didn't guess their size. Here, hold on. Let me show you what he looks like. This Alan Richardson guy.
So you're in a share screen.
Yeah.
All right.
Share this there. Yeah, he's big dude.
Oh yeah. Well, you got, but I mean, what is he actually really? He looks huge next to that kid.
Yeah, I mean he is. He's a big dude, man. Come on, there's another one.
Yeah, so this he's meaty.
There you go. There's a shot
Big.
for you.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find the guy he had to fight. Man, that guy was fucking huge. All right. So most recent, yeah, we'll be on this one. So let's click on that guy. Um, I gotta make it full screen so I can see more here. This guy, this is who we had to fight. This fucking guy. Look at that guy.
7'2". Did
Yeah,
you
that's
see in his bio he's 7'2"? Holy shit.
yeah. He had to fucking duck to go through doors. Like, look at that. Look how much he towers over him.
Wow.
And does it say how tall Alan is? Let me click on him.
But you can probably Google him. Like how tall is Alan
Here you go.
Richmond?
6'3". He's 6'3".
6'3" and 7'2". So that dude's a foot
Yeah,
taller than him basically.
yeah, yeah. That's fucking crazy.
So what has that other dude been in? Like, because I could see him being on a show like Game of Thrones or something,
Yeah, it looked like it.
being that tall.
Back to Reacher.
Just go back. No.
Yeah, I can't get to my back because of how the share screen is, which is
Oh,
really.
I gotcha.
Here you go.
Olivier Richters.
Known for the Black Widow credits. All right, so he's in Borderlands. He was Crom.
Indiana Jones, huh?
Yeah, he was Haktua, Kingsman, Black Widow, Miami Heat. I didn't see that one.
Well, he's not on Game of Thrones at all.
You would think, but what? Because looking at the pictures that he was in,
Looks like a Viking or some shit.
yeah, what the fuck is this on? God of
God of
War?
War. Oh, for
Oh, it's a PlayStation game.
yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
he's a big fucking guy though, man.
Yeah,
7'2". Jesus. His nickname is the Dutch Giant.
huh. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
So yeah, that's a good show, dude.
Reacher.
Yup.
That's one I would want to watch at some point. It's I
Yeah,
don't know
you'd like it because
when,
it's
but
it's right up your alley with CIA type shit and shit of shit.
so is let me just get ahead of it. Is Yellowstone gonna hook me in the first episode?
I'm gonna say probably the second episode. I don't
Okay.
remember the first one. It's been so long,
Yeah.
it's
And is it what, 5, 6 seasons?
they just finished I think it's only six.
And it's done now, right?
Yeah. Well, there's rumors saying that they're gonna continue on, but then there's also rumors that they're just doing the spin-offs.
Now, do I have to watch the 1812 show or whatever?
No, the staple of 1812, no.
Yeah.
Um, no, you can watch just straight up Yellowstone because Yellowstone came first, and then like 3 season in, they started doing the 1823 and the 1923.
Okay, but I don't need to watch those to understand what's happening.
No, no.
If you watched those, does it is it really good like backstory for Yellowstone, or is it more or less like afterthought?
Yeah, I would say more because I we watched the 18 either 23 or 83, I can't remember which one it is. We watched that and it was decent, but it didn't really add to anything whatsoever.
Okay.
The story.
All right. So just Yellowstone then. I don't need to see the
Yeah,
other ones.
yeah,
I'll let you know if we do start it because I'll probably talk about it as we go.
yeah, for
Because
sure.
you've already seen it, so it kind of like me catching up. You know what I mean? If
Yeah,
we don't watch it, I'll let you know what we do watch. But so far, that's what's we're thinking. So we'll see. You know.
yeah. Okay,
Um, Other than that, that pretty much does it. We're at 91 minutes, so
okay. We're a little long.
it's about where we'd want to be. So
Okay,
all right. Well, I guess that'll wrap up this one. Let me give some socials here, and then we'll kick on out of here.
okay,
If you want to email us, anything, but more so probably for Dear Dave's segment, it's guys who still high number five at gmail.com. Check us out over Patreon, patreon.com/slash guys who still high five, all spelled out. You can subscribe. You get, it's $5 a month. You get extra bonus content. I believe that comes out every Tuesday. We also release the video and audio episode 2 days early. So if you're on Patreon, you'll see it 2 days before anybody else will. If you're not all about that and you just want to go the free route, then you can get it 2 days later on Wednesdays over on YouTube, youtube.com/slash the at symbol guys who still high five, all spelled out. You can follow us on Instagram, guys who still high number five, TikTok, guys who still high five, all spelled out, and on X, we are at guys still high number five, and then we should also be on all of your podcast app type things, besides Apple.
yes. For some reason.
Yeah, and not not digging into that right now. So, but if you just Google it, you probably will find us.
Yeah,
Or if you have your podcast app that you prefer, like Spotify, we're on Spotify and all that. Just go there, follow, subscribe, do whatever. Like, leaves comments, rate us, and do all that on all these.
yeah.
Um, you
The
know,
more, the better.
yeah, go follow us on Instagram, X, and TikTok, you know, all that good stuff. We appreciate it. Um, Other than that, that'll do it for this week. So,
Sounds good.
yeah, right on.
That's all.